Going.
All right, so it is done. It is. Here we go. Morgan Gibbs-White to Tottenham Hotspur. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to Grumpy Old Reds, where this almost feels like a transfer deadline days stream, because I've seen Usain Bolt move slower than this one has. For those of you just coming back in from work, for those of you wondering what the hell is going on, let me bring you all very quickly up to speed. About 2-3 hours ago, it was announced that Spurs from Ornstein were interested in Morgan Gibbs-White, and we're going to approach Forest about a move. It then was done by the likes of Ben Jacobs, by Romano, etc. And then it was revealed that there was a 60 million release clause built in to Gibbs-White's contract. 60 million. And then an hour later, here we go. Gibbs-White to Tottenham, done, subject to medical, which is happening tomorrow. And he is no longer going to be a Forest player, subject to that medical. And obviously, there's a whole bunch of crap in between as well, but that's kind of the headlines of it. And oh yeah, the kit got released. We'll see if we got time to talk about that at some point. So make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. We've got a poll going on. Are you happy about Gibbs-White going? Let's kick this off with you, Ben. What are you saying, bro?
I'm fuming. I think it's disgusting. I mean, we sold Elanga, who's arguably one of our best players, a few days ago, and now we've had to sell another one of our best players. The core of our squad in a few days has basically gone from, a solid back four, back five, and a decent front line to just a solid back four and back five. We need players. We were told by the club we want at least 6 new players in this transfer window. Well, we've already got rid of 3 or 4, including Harry Toffolo and Sosa. But to get rid of MGW and Elanga, I'm disgusted. I think depleting the squad of that quality that we've basically built up in the last season is sickening. Some guy on Twitter, I don't know if it's right, but I presume it is. It sounds about right. Elanga and Morgan Gibbs-White, if you look at their assists and goal contributions, make up more than 50% of our goals scored. So we've just got rid of 2 of our best players, and we've been building this squad. And you see Morgan Gibbs-White and Elanga, they sit there and they kiss the badge or they kiss the Adidas badge, and they say how much they love Forest, and they come out and say, Forest is my home. They don't give a shit. I said this on the last call. They do not give a single shit about this club. All they care about is themselves, right? The only person who's a Forest fan in this club is Ryan Yates. None of the other players care. It's all about money. It's all about money, money, money. And the release clause, I mean, we didn't know about that, but that is sickening. And usually the release clause is pushed by the player and their agent. So Forest have hid that for a long time. But to have a release clause so close to the actual price you paid for him, it's just not good business. It's terrible business by Nottingham Forest. Apparently, we have to pay money away to Wolves as well for a 10% sell-on fee. I just think it's like, we're hearing from Marinakis about ambition. Well, the ambition's gone out the fucking window. I'm absolutely sick of it. It's been a crap transfer window. We haven't had any marquee signings. We're selling our best players. We need to be absolutely ruthless. We need to go out there. And they start tweeting an hour ago about fucking sponsorship deals and shit like that. And hospitality. Who gives a fuck? You just sold both of our best players, arguably. Well, why don't you just go and sell Murillo Milenkovic as well? You may as well. Relegate us back down to the Championship. I'm fuming, absolutely fuming. I think it's disingenuous bollocks from the club to say you have all this ambition and then you come out and sell 2 of our best players like that. I'm sickened. I'm absolutely sickened. That's my opening gambit.
Your opening gambit. We've already got over 1,000 in here. Make sure you hit that like button. I'll get the boys' opening gambits, then I'll catch up on the super chats. If you got your super chats there, don't worry. We're going to get to them as well. Ez and who wants
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm catching up. I'm the same as everyone. I mean, today, most of what you're going to see from us guys is a live reaction to what's going on. I've not been happy with anything I've seen released from a club today. The kit can get to whatever. It reminds me of a kit that Liverpool had many years ago. I remember it was a shit kit because I remember my brother wearing it and me telling him how shit a kit it was. So I'm not impressed with the kit.
Kind of looks like the Shipston one a little.
Oh, I don't like. No, it's nothing like the Shipstones one. Trust me.
I don't like pinstripes. The Shipstones one was shit. The Wrangler one was shit.
We'll come to the kit. We'll come to the kit. Let's do kit.
But I'm not.
Okay, no, we're Nottingham Forest, not bloody London City fucking office workers.
I'm not happy with anything I'm seeing from a club today. I'm really disappointed. I'm trying to get to grips with what this news is. And it makes me think a £60 million release clause, one we've not heard of this prior to now. And why the hell didn't Man City go in for him with a £60 million release clause?
Because he's never going to go there.
Well, yeah, exactly.
He's not good enough.
But that is... It's a valid point because Man City walked away because there was talks that he was too expensive compared to Turkey and Reindeers. But the talks then were 70 to 75 mil. Where's this magical release clause suddenly come from?
So there's a lot of answers we need, guys. But so from us, it's mainly going to be a reaction. But Ant, what do you want to say, man? Because I'm fuming on like rest of them.
Well, right. First of all, you'd say Ryan Yates is the only Forest fan. Well, if Ryan Yates was good enough to play for one of the top clubs, don't think he'd be sticking at Forest, right? So let's get that out of the way. It's easy to stick at the club when nobody else particularly wants you, okay?
Good point.
I sometimes get annoyed with Wolfie and other people, the chat and everything, when they say, oh, it's typical Foresty, it's a Forest thing to do. They'll do a Forest, and it's often bollocks because every club's the same. But on this occasion...
Wait, what did I say about doing a Forest?
I don't know.
Oh, I loads of stuff. You always said, we only need to get a point and we'll do a Forest and lose and we'll do a Forest.
Was I right? Was I right?
That was just an example of
yeah, there you go then.
Anyway, my point being that this is a Forest thing to do. I've seen it time and time again, and it always leads one way. And I don't even need to say which way that is. Nobody should put any blame whatsoever on Elanga or on Gibbs-White. 0%. They're not Nottingham boys. They're not Nottingham Forest fans. They're professional footballers. And I tell you what, you've got a choice. Mr. MGW, you've got a choice. We'll double your wages. You can play in front of a 60,000 crowd every home game. You're in the Champions League. You're at a club that, whether you like it or not, are part of the Big Six and are world renowned.
Careful.
Right?
Careful.
Or you could stay at Forest, who look like they're selling all their players, look unable to attract anybody decent, and have bought a shit kit out. What's your choice going to be?
Yeah, but Ant, I don't mind them wanting to go and better their wages and go to other clubs. What I mind is the disingenuous words that they come out with.
I believe them. I believe at the time they mean it. When Roy Keane said Nottingham is the city of my heart, he meant it. But then when Man U came in, he thought, it is.
Nah, come on, Andy. It's all bollocks.
It's bollocks. It's absolute bollocks.
He was like, oh, all that matters.
When I was a kid, I used to play for Deco, Oliver Ryan's boys club, right? And they were my team. But if Clifton Wallwhites had come in for me, I might have said...
They tell us what we want to hear. They make us believe that they're this kind of like...
But how's that different? I understand. I agree with you, Crypto, but I don't see how that's different to any player at any club in any team in the Premier League.
What do you want him to say? Oh, I don't want to be at this shitty club. I want to go and play for somebody else.
I'd rather him say that.
He's not going to do it. Be real. And I'm telling you now, Murillo will go. He will go this transfer window. Atletico Madrid, 55 million. He's probably got a release clause that we don't know about, and he'll be off.
So what's happened to the ambition if we're selling all our good players?
I absolutely adore Mr. Marinakis. I have pleaded his case on many occasions of what a wonderful, wonderful owner he is. He's letting me down big time at the minute. Big time. Because it's not letting the players go that's the issue. It's the fact that we haven't got the attraction to bring good players in. Nobody's going to want to come to Forest. Nobody.
Well, we
Listen,
bottled the
I haven't got a
Champions
problem
League.
with. I don't have a problem with
Yeah,
MGB.
Champions League made a
Dub
massive
going.
difference.
I don't have a problem with MG Dub going. I don't have a problem with Elanga going. I have a problem if we don't replace it now. Wolfie, I'm going to throw this one at you because you promised us a few weeks ago. Where's Eze? Give me Eze. Take MG Dub. I'm not bothered.
Where you getting?
I'm with you, Eze. I'm with you, Eze.
Give me Eze.
Forest won Eze, bro. I didn't say Eze was freaking training and was walking in on Monday. Fuck me, man.
No, it's you.
You kept giving us the nods and the winks.
Yeah, exactly.
We knew it was bullshit. We knew it was
It's not
bullshit, but you know,
it's not bullshit. Forest won Eze. Like Forest also
it's
wanted
bullshit that we
Gyökeres
have
in
any
January.
chance whatsoever of bringing him to Forest. That's bullshit.
All right. Did
Give
Forest
me-
want Gyökeres in January? Yes or no?
It doesn't matter, does it?
Exactly.
Because
So what are you
sometimes what clubs do, and I'm being cynical here, but I actually believe this. What clubs do is to appease their fans, they look like they're going for these fantastic players,
Correct.
when in reality, they got no chance.
And let's be real here, right?
No.
This is my gripe
Quick,
with it.
don't bring that one up, okay? From Nick, just don't bring it up.
What did Nick say?
Carry
Which
on.
one? Bring it up. I've not seen him. Is it?
No,
Let
don't bring
me-
it up.
What I want to see it
I'll
now. What
spar
is
it. We can have a look at it later. Shut up.
it?
You shouldn't have said
Nick.
anything.
Exactly.
Who is it? Who is it?
I don't, look,
Which one do
here's
you
my
not
gripe.
want me to bring up as?
Nick's
Yeah,
Nicholson.
pause,
Don't bring
pause.
this up. I've
Anyway,
started. You can see it later.
Anyway,
Okay.
here's my
Yeah,
gripe,
go on.
right? I don't mind Gibbs-White going. Look, he's frustrated the crap out of me all season. I'm not, we're going to forget about his passes and his open goal misses and stuff, right? He's a quality player, though, don't get me wrong. I don't mind Elanga going, right? Because I've had frustrations with him as well. What I mind is being told that no Forest player is looking or pushing for a move. Fact number one. Fact number two, Forest are not under PSR pressure to sell.
Don't bring it up. I just looked at
Anyway,
it. sorry.
Fact
You
number
already
three. All right.
Go on, yeah.
Fact number one, no Forest player, as in first teamer, is pushing for a move. Fact number two, Forest under no PSR pressure. Fact number three, you go and sell. Stop bringing that up, man. Pause. Right. Fact number three, you don't go and sell two household names in the same week. In the same week, pretty much, right? And Anger's there freaking twerking on Monday on a plane to Newcastle or whatever it is, right? And then by the end of the week, we haven't even got to the weekend, man. I still got another whole day of work tomorrow.
We might sell Murillo tomorrow. We've been lied to by the club. We've been lied to by the players. I will read you a direct quote from Morgan Gibbs-White. There is no other place in Forest that I would rather play. Morgan Gibbs-White, if you're watching this, you're absolute bullshit talking, shit stirrer. Fuck off to Spurs.
Listen, Crypto, let's not go down that route because that's not the way. I really don't give a damn what they've said. At some point, every single player has said, "Oh, I love this club." Yeah, but let's not dwell on that.
They love each other time. Of course they do. They love the playing. They're doing well. They love it.
Yeah.
But the problem is, no one cares about the clubs apart from the fans. The ownership don't care about the club. The players don't care about the club. The only people who give a shit about the club is the fans, and that is a fact.
Okay, so how's that breaking news? Just out of interest.
Yeah.
At what point
I would say, I agree with
you
that.
thought it was otherwise?
Who said breaking news
in that way? But
No,
I did believe
you,
Mr.
Crypto,
Marinakis
what kind of
was
breaking news is
different.
that?
I still do. I still believe it's different. I don't quite know what's going off with the situation.
Right.
Maybe he would turn around, given the chance, the opportunity, he would turn around and say, I don't know about with Elanga. I don't know why that was done. But certainly with Gibbs-White, perhaps the only way we could get him to sign that contract was by putting that clause in.
All right. Take a 2-minute breather. Let me catch up with the super chats. I'm dying to know what the guys in the chat are saying. Big up to Matt with the 29 months. Shout out to you. Bonjour with the 22 months. Big up to you as well. Stoned Roses with the 26. He goes, and then we saw Wolfie on TFTV. What's
TFTV? Terry
Was that
Flowers
Tottenham-
TV.
Tottenham
Terry
fan
Flowers
TV?
TV. You've been on Terry
No, I
Flowers.
was on We Are Tottenham TV. But big up to you, Stoned Roses. And Gail with the $2. He goes, he's not chill. He ain't chill, man. Thank you so much for the $2, bro. Dylan with the 30 months. He goes, seems to have happened very quickly. I know, man. It's crazy quick. Like, I was on 12 man.
With release clauses, they don't even have to talk to the club, do they? They can just.
You know, but and it was
deposit that
crazy.
money.
When I went on Potts' show, at the start, it'd just been linked. By the end, here we go. It was like, it was absolutely
Shocking,
crazy.
shocking. Do
Yeah.
you realise that they've signed Gibbs-White and
Kudos.
Jono.
Kudos.
Kudos.
Kudos in the space of about 3 days for about 55, 60 million
That's
each.
too quick for Spurs, man. Seriously, it's crazy.
And too much money. That's 105,000.
Bro, we got loads of super chats. Right.
More than that.
Shut up.
More than that, man.
All right, Noah with the 199. He goes, I give up. Why sell Elanga and now Morgan are best two? I don't actually agree they're our best two. I would say Milenkovic, Murillo, and Sells. But I hear what you're saying. Let's say
non-defensive.
Let's just sell them.
Yeah, in the attacking side, yeah. Thank you, Noah, for the 199. Thank you, Vic, as well, for the £5. He goes, great news. Maybe we can go back to League One, lose a playoff game to that team with Y. Fun times. I actually thought he was happy to start that one. And then I continued reading. Big up to you, Vic. I hear you, man. I hear you. Chris with the £2. Now, this is interesting because there is a sudden switch on the narrative of Marinakis. I'm going to put a poll up in a second on it. He goes, Chris, he says, sorry, this is embarrassing from Mr. Marinakis with the £2, Chris. We're going to talk about that in a second. Matt with the 499 says, Ross Wilson needs to be sacked. 60, well, he's probably going to get a new job at Newcastle. I mean, they're all going. MGW clearly wants to leave. It wasn't the club telling clubs how cheap he was. I will not welcome him back at the City ground. Interesting. Imagine he does the old fingers and ears celebration because he did it to the Wolves fans.
Well,
big
if
up
we
to you,
treat
Matt.
him like the Wolves fans, he's got every right to, hasn't he?
Yeah, facts. Chris with the £2. He says Marinakis' ambition is a fraud. Woof.
Ooh, big
words there from Chris. He is hot under the collar. Thank you so much, Chris. Nikki with the 23 months. Shout out to you, Nikki. Chris with another £2. He's fuming. He says someone from NFFC needs to tell us what's going on.
I can tell you, we're selling all our players and we can't attract anybody. So there you go. That's what's going on.
Thank you, Chris. Andreas with the 20 Norwegian Corona. Thank you so much for that. Big up Jan for the 32 months. £2 as well from Marky Boy. He says, this is why I never get a name on the shirt. You can just put my name on.
I wish I could say the same thing, Mark. I wish I could.
Ez is cheaper. 2 letters. Do S.
No, it's not as. It's not when I do my full name.
No, you don't want to do the full name. Thank you, Mark. Slick Rick with the 5 months, the absolute legend. And Ants with the $2 says, I noticed the new kit video did not have Morgan Gibbs-White. Is that true? I haven't even seen it yet.
It didn't.
I haven't seen it yet. Crazy times. Okay, let's jump into this Marinakis thing, right? And I don't think anyone here has ever criticized, well, Carlos did when he came on, but I would have thought, I can't think of a time, I may be wrong, where Marinakis has been called out. There's a lot calling Marinakis out over this one. Does the blame lie at all with Marinakis on this? Ez, kick us off on this, and I'm going to get a poll up for the chat.
On the Facebook,
sorry, 1,000 voted. 77% of you are not happy about MGW going. 23 are. Sorry, it's gone.
Yeah, I mean, a bit on the back of that, who would be happy about losing one of our key players from the last 3 seasons, you know? But with Mr. Marinakis, he's taken a lot of flack from the Forest fans. I mean, I'm not a big Twitterati, you know me, but I did have a quick glance on there just as we were setting up, and he's getting a lot of hate. The fans aren't happy. So if he's going to turn this around, we're going to have to see some big names coming in, and we're going to start having to see some solid links, not just, you know, paper talk. I want to see solid links to these players. And until that happens, I think Mr. Marinakis is going to be the fall guy for this at the moment. I don't agree with it. And I hope and pray that he has got, there are players lined up, and we're going to, you know, be having something to celebrate pretty soon, but it has to happen soon because it's not a good start to our pre-season at all. When's the first game? Isn't it this weekend?
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah. So, you know,
Who are we running up? Dennis and O'Brien.
We need to see players coming in. It's ridiculous.
Well, you're not even seeing Jesus till next Thursday.
No, we won't. But he's, you know, he's one of the few names that have come in that we had been linked with for a little while. But there's been paper talk with so many players. I mean, Wolfie, you're putting out videos every day with players we're linked to, but nothing solid and nothing that we're seeing coming through the door. And that's the concerning thing. And like I say, Marinakis will be the fall guy for this if this carries on for any longer.
And what you said, man, me and you, we've had this love for the Greek father.
Well,
you
I think
you said earlier on you were getting a bit pissed off.
Yeah, anybody who's watched this for any length of time will know I'm a humongous Marinakis fan. He's been the best thing to happen to this club since Clough. But I'm really disappointed at the moment. Now MGW, I can't particularly lay the blame at the door for him for that one because there's a release clause. And like I say, you don't know what duress Forest were under when they agreed that release clause. So that one, I'll park. The Elanga one, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for selling Elanga.
Sorry, and just to add to what you're saying, Marinakis apparently was involved in the negotiation of the Elanga deal.
Yes, he was. Yes. Yeah. He managed to get them up to 55 million. And I was under the impression that we didn't need to sell anybody and that our ambition was to improve the squad. You don't then go and sell you literally your best creator and second top scorer, you know? So that one, unless there's some reason that I'm unaware of, I lay squarely at the door at Mr. Marinakis, and I would be very, very disappointed because we can't attract anybody. Everybody's going on about this £10 million striker that can't score goals that's coming to us. Well, great. That's going to make a big difference when there's no Elanga and no MGW. I think our business coming in has been atrocious. Now, there's still time, but time is running out, especially if you want to get people involved in pre-season and friendlies. And who are we linked with? We're linked with people, and then that's it. 2 days later, you've not heard of them again. Brentford are laughing their asses off because we want Wissa. But why didn't we go for Wissa 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago?
Or in January. Why didn't we get it sorted in January?
No, exactly. But we've waited until we've got 120 million in the bank and then go for him. Do they expect them to say, yes, we'll do you a deal at that price? No, they'll say, we want more of that money you've got. It's pathetic. Yep. It's very poor. So whoever we go to, they're going to say, oh, we'll have some like release clause. You have to pay up front. So I know you've got 60 million in the bank to start with. Never mind the deposit on Elanga's money. So you're rolling. And we are rolling. We are rolling in it. But we won't be able to spend it. Because who wants to come to a club that's selling their better players? MGW and Elanga were an attraction for other players to come to our club. Any striker would think, with Elanga on the wing, I'm going to get loads of chances. Any forward would think, with MGW behind, putting those balls through, I'm going to be on for goals. Now they're thinking, who had they got then? Ryan Yates, Anderson, who is a brilliant player, but he's not. He doesn't have the same. Actually, I prefer. I'll retract that because I prefer Anderson to MGW. Okay, so I'll retract that. We have got Anderson.
I was going to say there's a little revisionism going on.
Yeah. No. I did retract that as I thought about what I was saying. But nevertheless, MGW is a high-profile player, so he does have that attraction value. We're going nowhere, mate. Now we weren't getting relegated. I was talking to my brother. We just pulled that ladder up at the trapdoor. We were the last ones to do it. Nobody stayed up since then. We were the last ones. We spent a lot of money, got ourselves into trouble, points deduction, as we know, but we managed to survive. And now we're one of the 17 because whoever comes up's going down. Leeds, maybe. But we managed to get ourselves in the Premier League, and now we're just one of the 17. or one of the 11 if you don't want to include the top 6. That defeat that draw against Leicester has cost this club massively. I don't believe that MGW or Elanga would have gone if we'd have been in the Champions League, and I think we would have been able to attract a higher quality of player. So that one game, stupid game, and I did mention slapping Murillo for letting that goal in against Everton. Well, if he'd not done that, we'd been in the Champions League. We still have our better players and attracting better players.
Technically, we would have been in Europa.
No.
Yeah.
No, we'd have got 3 points instead of none.
No, we wouldn't. We'd have got 1 point, so it ended up in a 0-0.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Now we did have, but you get my point. No, you get my point. You.
How about not losing to Leicester when you're 2-1 up? Let's go with that one.
Yeah. That's
but not drawing of Leicester.
That's the worst one. That's worse than losing to Everton, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah. So we don't know what's happening with UEFA. Everybody is making the assumption now, an assumption that Palace are going to be kicked out and we're going to be in. I believe that will happen, but I'm not counting my chickens like everybody else is counting theirs. Because funny things happen with UEFA. Don't forget, UEFA is bent as a 9-bob note, so anything can happen with them.
Yeah, anything could happen with them.
Well, Rich is panicking about it.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Sorry, it's gone.
It's gone.
No, I just want to challenge on one point. I know you said obviously that.
Before you challenge him, sorry, I've interrupted you twice. So I apologize, but there's 1,500 of you in here.
Wow.
And we're sitting on 256 likes.
Come on, guys. It should be at least 500 likes.
500 now, man. Please hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new here. I know there's a lot of Spurs fans. There's a lot of Spurs fans in there as well.
Let's not pamper these lot out there.
Yeah. Go on. Sorry, as I interrupted you.
Yeah, just challenge on one of the points that Ant made there about having MGW and Elanga here would attract better forward players to want to come here. But it's not the forwards we're trying to attract right now. The replacements or the covers for these players weren't coming because they didn't feel they had a straight route into the team. Now, okay, it was only based on a player called Weah, who wasn't anyone that I had on my radar anyway, but it might open a door for a few more signings. But the point I'll go back to is I'm not seeing any definite links with top quality players or even mid-quality players. Seriously, what are we being linked with really that you think that tomorrow's got we could have a play through the door? Well, so go on, say that.
I was going to say, there you go, there's your links.
Yeah. And this is just it's moving too slow, obviously, and the fact that the players, this seems to be pulled under our rug because we had no indication of this MGW offer at all. Certainly didn't know about the release clause, and like you said, Wolfie, earlier, literally we heard that. I saw your video put it out where obviously Spurs have showed interest, and you were laughing at it, and I was laughing along with you. I'll be honest. And next time I turned on, we told him. So what the hell is going on? But it should players that we are interested in, they should know that we've got a chance into this squad. But that doesn't change the fact we're not improving from last season. We haven't expanded on our squad. We've sold our 2 biggest goal contributors, and it makes no difference whatsoever. Makes no sense whatsoever. I'm worried now. I said we could probably get another season out of Chris Wood because he doesn't matter losing a half yard of pace as long as he's got Elanga providing assist for him and MGW providing assist for him. Now, who's going to get his goals? He's going to fall off the map. This does not bode well for us going
I'm
forward.
really sorry, but some breaking news. Bayer Leverkusen are now in concrete talks for Johan Bakayoko.
So that's another one of our targets. Okay, brilliant.
Look, I'm still trying to calm down from my opening gambit. I just had a few more points to make. There's no clear replacement strategy. First of all, why are we selling our best players and not our crap players? Like, it was great to see people like Tyro on the video today. I'm so happy that he's healthy and he looks fit and healthy and he's laughing and he's having a good time. But he's crap. Like, you throw the sentimentality out the window, he's crap. Why are we not selling our crap players? Why are we selling our best players? There's no replacement. for these
Nobody
players.
wants our crap players, Ben. That's why.
Hang on a
We've got
second.
none left, mate.
There's no replacement for these players. Nuno is now forced to rebuild the team with 4 weeks left to go until the start of the season, and we don't have half a squad. We're going to be in 4 competitions next year, and we don't have half a squad. And Nuno's got to go through pre-season like this. It's disrupting our whole pre-season, and we know how important that can be as well, because we saw that in previous years. If Nuno doesn't get a full pre-season, it can have a massive impact. Like the mixed messages from the club towards the fans, ambition versus selling our best players. I mean, what's the issue? Is it the wage structure? Are we not paying our players enough? Is it because we didn't get Champions League? What's the reason that our best players want to leave?
We're only losing players.
We're signaling that we're a selling club.
club.
Fans are losing trust in our club, and it's absolute bollocks. It's short-term game instead of long-term growth, and it'll be affecting the squad morale as well. Because people like Aina and Cho, they were in love with Elanga. Well, Elanga's gone. Morgan Gibbs-White was the captain. Well, Morgan Gibbs-White is gone. So what is happening to this squad of players?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but this is it. We're falling apart. And what I hate about, well, one of the many things I hate about it is the fact that all the other YouTubers, everybody that's not a Forest fan, first of all, they said, you won't get Champions League, you'll fall off at the end of the season. Bingo. And then they said, now everybody will come and take all your best players. Bingo. This is what's infuriating. What's happening is what everybody said would happen. And we kept saying no, because we've got Mr. Marinakis and he's different gravy. He won't do that. And I'm afraid he is doing it. So something needs to happen quickly. And I don't have any confidence or faith whatsoever that it will. And I tell you now, if I had £100 in front of me and I had to put it on whether Murillo will be here at the end of a transfer window or not, I would emphatically say no way is he going to be at Forest.
But you're not overreacting.
No, not in the slightest.
Okay, but okay, let me just say this to you. Let's just say Forest go, because breaking news as well, Forest renew pursuit of Johan Visser. Fresh offer made to Brentford for the 28-year-old. Bid falls under 25 million. Forest were prepared to pay in January and considerably lower than their valuation of 50 million, in excess.
Yeah, they value him at 50. And you know why they value him at 50? Because he scored how many goals last season?
19.
So 20 odd was it?
All they'll think now is Forest have got a ton of money and just drive the price up. That's all they'll think.
Yeah, of course.
Just clarify, Wolfie, isn't he in the final year of his contract?
He's got 1 year left. I don't know if he's got a +1. He might. I think he might have a +1.
It's complicated by the fact that they're selling Mbeumo to Man United, apparently. I mean, although that's been going on for 6 weeks.
That's the only benefit of selling MGW.
All right, it's still Yates. You guys, 30 seconds, have a deep breath. Let's catch up with the super chats. We've still got 1,500 of you in here. We're on 399 likes. Let's get that up to 500 likes.
Really helps the channel. Come on, guys.
Hit the like button. The boys are sharing the frustration. I want to hear your thoughts as well in the chat. Jess with the £2, she says, what is going on? Teary face emoji, teary face emoji. Jess, I don't know, man. Are the wheels falling off or not? Potentially. Thank you so much, Jess. Big up to Jacko 1114 with the 11 months, 1 month away from his 1 year anniversary. Thank you so much. Chris as well. He's venting. I love you, Chris. And the new kit is absolutely trying. I gotta say, I've only just seen the picture. It looks crap. It looks
awful, doesn't it? Right, I'm going to find that Liverpool kit that it reminds me of, because there is.
I thought Adidas was supposed to be super duper design.
Yeah, no, and you know what they do?
They have the crown paint one.
Well, I'm sure
that was yellow. That was yellow.
I'm trying to think if it was Torres was in that kit, but they didn't. Definitely had one with
about
white
them anyway.
Let me just Andreas does confirm, indeed, they are Norwegian krona. Big up to you. Thank you so much, Andreas. Emily with the 499 says, if Gibbs-White wanted out, why didn't he leak his release clause to them? If Gibbs, I think she means didn't want out. Why did he? So what? He leaked the release clause. I don't
of
think
course. Look, his agent is not going to.
His
His agent.
It's-
Come on, let's be honest.
release
What's an
clauses
agent
are
going
a
to do?
secret amongst agents and clubs. They will know about the release clauses. But I hear. Thank you so much, Emily. Dan with the 199. He says new kit stripes are for lines of tears. Very good, Dan. Very good. Thank you for the 199. Big up to Mark as well with the £2. He goes, I saw a solid link this morning in my toilet.
Now,
Let's move
Mark,
on.
put the Guinness
You-
down, Mark. Put the Guinness down.
Wait, you must have been watching an FFTV video, I think is what he's saying. Oh my God, Jack says Josh. Is he still us? Is he still?
Nah.
He can't be.
I'm sure we.
You know what? I think he is. You know. Josh Bowler starts next season, says Jacka.
Forrest
Yeah,
has
yeah,
sent me a link saying I
yeah,
can have
still on my
priority
phone.
access to get a new kit. Isn't that nice of them?
Oh, very nice. Thank you, Jacka. And hey, he's back. Marky Boy with the 34 months. He goes, not that fussed about MGW, but letting him go for 60 million is poo-poo. Bowler's got 1 year left. I've just
Get on
been
with the
told.
language.
Mark, good to have you back, mate. He's really chosen a bad day to come back. Shout out to Lewis with the £5. He goes, as a team, we look lost, losing two of our best creators. We're now going to have to swoop in for ridiculous money for average premium players. You are spot on. Buy the players first, then sell the players. You know what I'm saying? It's like, get it the right way around. That is my big frustration.
Can I just provide a bit of information for you?
In a minute, I've got loads more to get through.
Well, okay.
Jess with the £2. She goes, what's Wood going to do? She's worried
He's going
about
to struggle, Jess.
I've just said,
He's
yeah.
going to
I don't
struggle.
see where his
Actually,
goals come from. Where do his goals come from?
Well, I'm just saying, Jess, like the way it's going, Wood may be the only player left. So at least he'll be playing for you next season. So big up to Jess with the £2. Chris with another £2. He goes, love Mr. M, but he's selling us down the river.
No.
Chris is fuming. I ain't seen him this angry, man. He's absolutely fuming.
He's got every right to be this angry.
I'm not gonna
I'm sure Ben agrees with me.
Yeah.
Mate, I'm
Hayden,
calm. I'm calm.
hold on. Hayden with the 13 months. I'm nearly there. Big up to you, Hayden. Thank you so much. And what lacking with the 199 super sticker. Shout out to all you guys. Thank you all so much for your support. We're getting close to 500 likes. We're only 15 away. Still 1,500 in here. All right, you all wanted to talk while I was doing the super chats, and the crowd is
I just wanted to give you the information.
Let me finish my sentence, man. On the poll, do you blame Marinakis? 52% of you do blame Marinakis. 48% of you do not. Interesting. I'll keep that open for a few more minutes. Go on, Ant. Now you can.
That sounds about right, doesn't it? Because it's like you don't want it to be true, but the evidence suggests otherwise. No, all I was going to say was that since we signed Josh Bowler 3 years ago for how much? Well, 5 million, was it?
I can't remember, bro.
He's been out on loan to Olympiacos. They didn't keep him. Blackpool, they didn't keep him. Cardiff
He was
City,
from Blackpool originally.
they didn't keep him. Preston North End, they didn't keep him, and he's currently on loan at Luton.
That's about his level.
So there you go.
Yeah,
they probably won't keep him.
Why are you talking about Josh Bowler?
It was Bob in the chat.
Because somebody in one of the comments said,
okay, as long as not because you're trying to figure out how to fit him into our team next season.
No, Bill was saying he's going to start.
It's easy. He'll be the only one there.
Bro, how has it gone? How has it gone in a week, right? From talking about freaking Yilmaz and Bakayoko and that
Europa
scrub
League
Weah. Like
We
seriously.
say Yilmaz, but I haven't heard hide nor hair of Yilmaz this transfer.
There's been more reports on Yilmaz to Forest, but he probably doesn't want to come because he doesn't want crappy conference. I asked Potts about this earlier. Do you think Edu has had any impact on any of this, Ben?
I literally don't give a single shit who has any impact on this. I just think it's bollocks where we are, to be honest. I don't care if it's Edu. I don't care if it's Marinakis. It's a letdown to the fans. It's a failure of the squad. Nuno must be fuming. If Edo's involved, then Edo's involved. I don't care anymore. I literally don't care. May as well just sell Murillo and Milenkovic and go back down to the Championship.
Wow. You, bro.
I don't think Edu will have had anything to do.
I mean,
with
he's
this,
only
because
just come in,
obviously-
hasn't he?
Yeah, obviously MGW's
And just got
contract
announced.
was sorted out a while ago, and why would he want to get rid of Elanga? It doesn't make sense. So,
Unless he wants money. If they were pushing for that extra money, then maybe there's a reason that they're looking at some other players and they need a bit more cash.
Yeah, it's like I keep saying, Ben, over and over again. It doesn't matter how much money we get, people don't want to come. It doesn't matter how much money.
That's because we messed up the Champions League. But the problem is, at the end of the season, they start talking about this ambition, but you can't talk about ambition and then sell the players who nearly helped us get to that Champions League.
I can't think of a single decent 45, 50 million pound player that would come to Forest.
Okay, let me spin this round for you then, Ant, right? Let's say Forest started last season crap and built into the season and ended up with the Conference League. Okay? Would you still be saying Forest can't attract any players in that scenario with such like anger?
Yeah, I would. I would still be saying
Why?
it. Because we're trying to buy players to take us to the next level. The next level is Champions League qualification or Europa Cup winning team. So the only way to do that is by getting better players. And better players don't look at the conference and say, "Oh yes, please." They just don't.
Yeah, but you're missing my point. If Forest weren't,
You tell me a good player
kind
that's gone to a 7th place team anywhere ever.
I don't know.
Just don't
Villa
do it.
players? Yeah, but
Villa
no,
aren't
my point here that I'm trying to make, right? If Forest weren't ever in a Champions League race, would your expectations of this summer be different? Has that run changed your perception of what the club
might
needs to
do for me as a
is
fan.
it more to do with what Marinakis is saying?
No, it might do with me as a fan, because obviously if you're getting better as the season goes on, the hope is that you continue that, get a few players to supplement it and continue growing. So yes, as a fan, but as a player, no, it's where you finish. Where you finish is where you finish.
What are you saying?
And then when you look at it now and you see that we've sold 2 of our better known players, that's not a good look. It's not a good look. Why would you want to join Forest? Why?
We look like a selling club.
Yeah, well, we are.
We're not supposed to be a selling club. We're supposed to be a club who's trying to get back to where we belong effectively. And yes, it'll take a number of years. It may take 5 to 10 years to try and, challenge for, say, the title. It's not going to happen anytime soon. But you've got to start off the right way. This is going backwards. Do you know what this is? It's a rob mentality. Replace your players with crapper players just to make some more money. It's a rob mentality. We need players to come in and challenge, but now we're getting rid of our best players. They said they wanted 6 to 8 players. Well, now we need about 10 of high quality.
I think that. Listen, I'm from the old school. Obviously, I've seen us do it all, right? So I know anything's possible, or used to be possible. The game's changed. It's money now, money, and we ain't got it compared with those clubs at the top. So you must lower your expectations. Not think we're going to be challenging for titles. We won't be. We simply won't be. Unless the rules change. Unless the rules change. Because the reason you can't do it is because as soon as you get a good team, fuckers come in and take it. And we can see it happening.
And it's the club who are giving those expectations. It's the club who are coming out and saying ambition.
I've said on other podcasts, for me as a Forest fan, I every year top 10 with a possible push for Europe.
I want them to say that.
For me, that's the club we are. That's the club we are.
What do you want to say? We've got no ambition. What, Crypto, what do you want them to say?
No, I want them to say we've got ambition, and I want them to follow it up with actions. I don't want them to say we've got ambition and then sell 2 of our best players.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, obviously. So we have to see the fruition of this. But I'm not convinced.
What's the point of lying about it?
I'm not convinced that even Champions League might have helped us keep hold of some of our players. But like Ant said, who are we attracting? Even Champions League
gives you a ton of money as well. Because this looks like to me,
a ton of money. But we've got money isn't the issue, like we've said, Crypto. We've got money in the bank.
Tell that to the people who can see them trying to get 120 million.
It does enable you to go that extra yard. I mean, I can't see us putting in a £70 million bid for anybody. Being in Champions League would enable to do that. But you're right, Ez. We would be like the 5th or 6th choice of that player if it's coming to England. Even if we're in the Champions League, we would still be fifth or sixth choice.
and
Now we're down with Brentford and Fulham. That's what we are.
And
I'm
that's
sorry,
a good
that's
point.
what we are.
I know.
That's a
You
good
go
point.
too far,
but
right?
that's
Sometimes you
that's
go too
exactly
far.
why- That is exactly why we shouldn't sell. Because who are you going to get in for 50 million or so who is better than what we currently had?
That is a bang on point.
The
You're not
biggest
going to
problem,
get
I
anyone
think,
better for that price.
one of you
where
guys
we
alluded,
are.
sorry.
Go on,
The biggest problem, one of you guys alluded, I can't remember if it was Crypto or Ant who said it, is our wage structure. And I'm sorry, until we improve our wage structure or increase it to the levels of where we think we deserve to be, we ain't going to attract these top players. Because you could be a Man United in 16th and 17th and offer 200, 300 grand a week and get the top players, even if you're shit. So we cannot compete. So there's a lot of levels where we need to raise. And obviously we can't do that until we've got the revenue anywhere close to these clubs. And it's going to take a long time for us to build that up. Yes, we're trying to make the right measures, but even this stadium increase, it's not going to do enough. You know, so
5K,
what
the
club is at right now doesn't look good. Go on,
I think you make a good point. But my rebuttal to that would be, well, why don't we clear off some of the wages with the players who are crap? You could sell 2-3 players.
Sell crap players. Man, you've been trying to do it for years.
Yeah, but they'll still be on high wages. If you sold people like Jota Silva, etc., they'll still be on decent wages.
They probably will go.
They'll go as well. We need players. We're in
Crypto, Jota Silva's probably on about 20, 30 grand a week, mate. He isn't on hundreds of grand a week. You know? It's not a huge outlay, you know, trust me.
I want to talk about the bigger picture here and potentially who else we could lose. Okay, let me just catch up on the super chat. Yeah, because I think that's the discussion we need to have, right? I mean, we've already lost Rob.
Depression session, yeah.
The one down. So I said I'm about to do super chats and Crypto starts bumming through the freaking comments. Cool. Nella with the 33 months. Thank you so much, bud. Much love to you. Carl with the 199 sticker. Legend. Owen with the €2. He says Edu has wrecked this club in days. Spoiler alert, Eddie's been doing stuff for months, bro. But it has all since the Edu announcement, all the sales have started to go through.
But we need a scapegoat. We need a scapegoat.
Probably why Mr. Marinakis brought him in.
We need a scapegoat.
Like the Glazers brought in Ratcliffe, so he gets all the shit. Marinakis probably bought in Eddie, so he gets all the shit.
A few days before we sell our best players.
Thank you, Owen, for that. The official Lyon Red Finger with the $5 says Nuno ends 7th and sells great players. That's why he never ends high.
I don't think it's Nuno.
Well, he has finished 7th 3 times, so maybe it is his ceiling. Thank you for the $5. Big up to 1865 with the £2. He goes, nobody is bigger than the badge. Let's be patient. I'm kind of with you a bit, man. I haven't gone head. I will go head loss when Nketiah is announced as the replacement or something like that. Then you will see me see smoke coming out my ears. Freaking out. Yeah. Big up to the beautiful Will with the £5. He goes, oh no, no more. Oh no. No more getting pissed off with the flicks and tricks. Trust the process, boys. We could actually end up better off. I'm not 1,000,000% against what he's saying because one certain individual here, right?
Yeah. But I do believe we could have got more than 60 million for him in an open market.
Well, not when there's a release clause, mate.
No. I mean, that's what I mean. If we'd not given him that release clause, although, like I say, we don't know the circumstances. It might have been that or nothing. So.
Exactly. Shout out to the Will.
Do you remember when everybody was taking a piss out of us saying we paid over?
You get your chance for like 90% of the show, bro. Let me get the more important people on here, right? With the £2 says forest fangs removed, need to grow new ones fastly. What? That's deep.
Oh, sorry.
That's deep. Does it mean we got no bite? We got no bite.
I think that. I assume that's what it means.
That's deep. All I said, that's deep. George becoming a new member. Shout out to you, George. Chris, this should be fun. With the £2 goes, turns out Kieran Maguire ain't the all-seeing eye. Well, what?
No, he knows the same as us.
Well, no. What he said is not incorrect. It's just they've decided to sell. You don't have to sell when you're poor. This is the thing.
Oh no, I agree on that. I don't think we're selling because we have to. Apart
Exactly my
from
point,
the release clause.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to you, Chris. Paul with the 34 months. Thank you so much, Paul. And with $10, and this ant is better than the ant we've got on screen here. Considering how well this team has been run under Marinakis, common sense says they have a plan. My faith is shaken but not broken. No way this has been a setup for his money grab, in quotes. It doesn't make sense. I'm not a million miles off that thought process, bro. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a million miles. I will lose my crap if the replacements are not on par or better than what they've sold. Big up to you. And we got Nico with the £5. He says nobody has even mentioned nobody has even mentioned to ones how we have sold our most influential player and our captain. Yeah. We have lost the grit and determination of our core.
Go back to
let's
discuss
that. Let's discuss that. Just before I do as well, I've put up the link for our Discord server. By the way, there's requests in there. If anyone wants to join the Forest Pro FIFA clubs, there's a channel within that Discord. It's being set up in there. Shout out to Storm who's looking to set that up. And if you want to speak to us guys, I think they're all in the Discord server, so get in there. It's completely free to do. I'll shout out anyone who's landing in there. I'm seeing a couple just landing now. Redgate is in there, shout out to him. Harold's in there. The Great Pretenders just joined. You got Cal's in there, big up to Cal, and Mark as well. So all right, just before we do, I want to talk about the rest of the players, boys. Ben, out of what's left, without like doing an emotional answer, what are you saying about the other big names in the club right now? Are you worried about Murillo, Milenkovic, Sells? Callum Hudson-Odoi has only got a year left on his contract, although he was out negotiating. His reps were negotiating that abroad. How are you guys seeing it now? And in the chat, let me know which player worries you the most that you think may go. And we've said there's been links to Murillo with Atleti as well. Do you see a world where Forest gets stripped out, literally?
I mean, from my point of view, we cannot sell Murillo, Milenkovic, Aina, Sells, and preferably not Nico Williams. We saw what happened the season before. They were our solid back line. We conceded a ton of goals. We conceded a ton from set pieces. That back four or back five, including the goalkeeper, has been a huge difference for us. We conceded I don't know where we ended up on conceding goals last year, but about 3/4 of the way through the season, we were basically first or second best at not conceding goals. So that really is the core of our squad. If you get rid of that, we seriously would be in trouble. I mean, I pray to God that we don't sell Murillo and Milenkovic after what we've done, because
I couldn't resist.
After getting
rid of half of our core of our attack.
I had flashbacks to that Elanga stream when I went to the toilet.
We can't as well start disrupting our defense. I mean, you've got to think of the squad here. Like, we need that core defense. Murillo and Milenkovic work brilliantly together. You cannot disrupt that. If you saw Murillo and Milenkovic, especially Murillo, you'd arguably get even more than 60 million. But you cannot be after cash. You've got to think.
Not if they've got a release clause, mate.
Well, I pray to God they haven't got a release clause.
Why do you think Murillo all of a sudden out of the blue signed a new contract?
Well, who knows? But we cannot.
I think I might have a clue now.
We can't keep selling our top players. What was the point of building all last season, bringing these players in just to sell them all off?
Well, this is what we talked about. You know, when we did our buy, keep, release, all that sort of stuff, I said anybody who's on the final 2 years.
Sorry, I put the wrong server link. Shit. Sorry, guys.
What have you added them to?
Shit.
What server
hold
link?
Oh shit.
Some like dodgy site.
I know.
As long as they like Paul, they'll be fine.
No, it's not. It's nothing bad. Sorry, I put the wrong server in. Let me put it back in again.
Okay. I can't remember what I was saying.
Sorry, carry on.
I can't remember what I was saying.
Wait. Yeah, guys, I put those of you. There's loads who just joined. Sorry, that was the wrong server link. I pinned the right one. Please put that. Go to that one. Sorry, carry on. I'm gonna have to sort this out.
I honestly can't remember. Were you talking
Marilla
about
Milenkovic. We're talking about not selling Marilla Milenkovic.
He's not selling our top players, full stop. And
yeah.
I'm not in panic mode right now. Like Wolfie said earlier, you said we all are. I'm not. I'll wait to play out to see what happens over next week or so. But it does need to happen over the next week or so. Touching on what you said earlier, Crypto, one of the biggest factors of us having the season we had last year, and yes, it fell off towards the end, but certainly 2/3 of the season was down to our pre-season and having the players together.
Oh my God, I've done it again. Fuck.
Oh,
sorry.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Seriously.
Jump in, mate.
Why on earth would you not be in panic mode? Because
why am I not? Because I'm hoping.
What evidence do you have, or belief do you have, that we can go out and replace an England international midfielder and a Swedish international right winger who scored and assisted for 19 GA last season? Why do you assume that we can replace them, even if we have the money to do so?
I'm not assuming, but I cannot fathom that we would make these decisions. Yes, release clause was a release clause, but the club must have known there was a chance that release clause would get out and clubs would come in for him. So we've got to have a backup plan. So I'm the eternal optimist and hoping that there is some huge signings lined up that are going to make me.
In other words, you've got no actual reason.
I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose it.
I'm an eternal realist, and I think that's bollocks. I'm worried. We've got.
But you'll flip the tune as soon as these players start coming in, so I'm not worried about that.
People can say we're going after Harvey Elliott's camp and stuff like that. It doesn't mean anything. We're not on the verge of signing them. We're starting to approach them. So what? We don't have any backup for these players. We've sold them to make money with no backup. That's the end of it.
If by the next,
we've not got the pulling power to go to a club that's more successful than us and poach their players.
Exactly.
No, we can't
to get to that standard, unless you're very, very lucky and you get a Murillo, which can happen, but let's face it, it's once in a blue moon, once in a generation almost. Then you're buying below what you already have, hoping that they're going to improve.
I'm hoping, but this is what we did with the players that we bought in. Though, which other players that we bought in were better than what we already had on?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But
yeah, are we going to get back lucky again? Yeah, are we going to get back lucky again? Yes, I agree with you.
We were in the position where we hoped that we were in a position to be able to actually improve the squad by buying better players. Now we're back to buying potentially good players.
Plus the backups we still need before we sold them.
And that's the Brentford-Fulham model. That's why I said earlier on, we are now back with Brentford and Fulham.
And you don't want to be one of those clubs, because what do they have to look forward to each season? Like mid to low table
survival, mate. It is an achievement in itself.
Yeah, well, they're fine with it because they know their level. We're the ones who want to be higher. We're the ones who want to be in that top echelons. So if we need to temper our expectations, like and kind of said earlier as well.
Palace are happy at 12th every year. That's where they expect to be. They're happy.
They're satisfied. And if they get a cup,
the fans
we did last season, they're over the moon.
The fans are the club.
Listen, if by GOR this time next week we haven't got players in, then I'm going to be in panic mode. But right now, to be honest, I haven't even absorbed what's gone on today. So once that sinks in, that we have actually lost the players that we've lost, then maybe I can react to it. But if in a week's time we haven't got solid players through the door, and I don't want links, I want players through the door, because there's players out there. There's the likes of, I've just seen that name come up again, and I've been banging on about Grealish. There's players like that. Now we've got money in the bank, yeah. We've said already about his wages. That would exactly. So there are players out there that we could attract. I mean, another name that nobody's still linked to is Osimhen. I've said it. I could have seen Marinakis wanting to pull off a move like that. and I'm hoping that that's the only
Yeah, but you
reason.
just sat here and said we can't afford wages, and then you're talking about Osman who's on.
No, I said we can afford it. We need to. We need to break our wages. We need to
Yeah,
break our wages.
I agree with that, but we clearly don't.
You need what? And if you can attract one player, that will attract others. We need to do it because if we've got money in the bank, there's no point without money in the bank if we're not getting players in. Simple as that.
You're absolutely right. It's the problem is the cold reality is we've just sold possibly our 2 best players, or certainly 2 of the better players in our club.
If you were a Grealish coming in,
that's reality.
wouldn't you see that? If you were a Grealish that we're linked with, if you were a Visser, even Visser, Visser can play out on the right as well as up front. That gives him more of a route into the teams. Now, players should be coming in and thinking, I want a challenge, but they don't. And you know that. They want to be, they want it in their contract that they've got, their first name on the team sheet and stuff like that. And that's the challenge that managers have, trying to keep all these players happy. And now, this might make it easier for Nuno. This might make it easier, but right now, he's left with a threadbare squad compared to what we're looking to achieve this season. And like Recruiter says, 4 fronts that we're supposed to be fighting on. Right now, he's hamstrung, and he needs to.
Don't be surprised if at the first game of the season we've got Jota Silva out on the right and Ryan Yates in midfield. Don't be surprised.
Isn't he going as well? Sosa's got
sorry.
at least.
Sorry to interrupt. Right,
gone.
I've got the right server linked finally.
Are you sure?
When you join, can you just say hi in the general chat just so I know?
Are you flexing your gun? I won't say guns because you've only got one up.
So hot, man. Now I sent everyone to a mate's. It's pissed at me right now. If someone joins that Discord server, it's linked. Much love. I see there's people joining in there, so I'm hoping I got the right one now. He's not happy with me. Cheers, bro. Okay, it's the right one. Okay, let me catch up with some super chats. The fun of live TV. Chris with the £5 says, so not happy. I work for Howdens, now going to get a free transfer to win. Yo, I need some discount from Howdens, Chris. Like, message me on Discord, bro. Message me. Thank you so much. Jess with the £12 says, Cho will probably be next. If we sell cells, that's a tongue twister. I'm gonna lose it. Jess is like spiraling out of control.
What about Wood, Jess?
I don't think so. I'm not worried about Sells going. I think his ambitions can be met by Forest. I don't think we need. He had a good season. He had a fantastic, brilliant season.
Champions League, he said in an interview.
But I don't think any of the top clubs are going to come in for Sells.
Let's see.
No, it's true. Somebody's paying attention.
In Discord, just see if that works. Thank you, Jess. Forest Lyon with the 199. He goes, Ant drank out of 3 different cups, and this is it. Right, Forest Lyon, you are so observant, bro. That's like crazy, man. That's crazy. Shout out to you. Thank you, Chris with the £2. He goes, we'll know when Jair turns up in that 5 shot.
Yeah, it does seem a bit of a coincidence that we seem to be going for left-sided centre-backs all of a sudden, doesn't it?
Well, Hudson-Odoi relinquished the 14 shirt. I'm just saying. He got the 7. I'm joking.
What's he got now then?
7. He swapped to Nico Williams.
Yeah, he should have had.
Yeah, he's gone up, hasn't he?
Joker with the 199. Forest in talks with Harvey Elliott camp.
We've just been discussing that whilst you went for a shit, but we were saying basically, look, talking with their camps, fair enough, but it's not a solid backup plan yet until he's signed on, basically.
Yeah, I quite like Harvey Elliott from what I've seen.
They'll reject him.
And I think he would be available. I think he's the kind of player we could actually get.
I don't know.
James McAtee was. I'd rather have James McAtee.
Yeah, James McAtee. Yeah, I like him as well. Yeah.
Oh man, Yoker as a.
It's still only
we're not like.
While you were away, Wolfie, I don't know if you heard. I mean, there's still great players out there. The likes of Grealish, the likes of Osimhen. They are big name players out there. If we're Forest,
you ain't getting Osimhen, man. He's going Turkey.
Let me just finish my point.
But man, you say that, and I would have said the same. But the mere fact he'll sign for a Turkish club means we are a bigger club.
Because they're going to pay him like £6 billion.
They're going to pay him stupid money.
This is where you didn't let me finish what I was saying. We need to break our we need to break our wage structure.
Oh, they need to break something because I think Crypto's broken a few glasses.
Yeah, they've already broken me today. So that's
shout out to Ben with the 30 months. Nico with the 499 goes, why did Man City not go for 60 million release clause last season when we were holding out for about 100 mil?
I said this from day one.
Yeah.
Day one, I said Man City will not buy Morgan Gibbs-White. If he was 50p, they would not have Morgan Gibbs-White. You know why? Because he ain't good enough for Manchester City.
I mean,
Let me end off. Don't speak about it. Let me end off my story.
You also said that Nketiah was a brilliant player. So
yeah, I was perhaps a little. I don't know. He could still come good. He could still come good. He's only young.
Yo, you know who we are gonna get? We're gonna get Evan Ferguson. Oh my god! And you don't be available for that stream, man.
Why are you triggering him, man?
Shout out to Stephen becoming a new member. Thank you so much. Lewis with the £2. He goes, let's get Andy Reid back on the wing. Bro, please don't reopen old Forest to Spurs links, man. That one cut me deep, man. And Dawson as well. Bloody shares my birthday.
Yeah, but we got 5 million quid for the pair of them. Come on.
Was it 5 or was it 8? I think it was 8.
I don't know. 7, wasn't it? It was 7.
Well, 3 different numbers. Split the difference.
It was less than fucking 10 for the two of them. So.
Gaza Red, he goes, I guess this means Tottenham have to pay the 60 up front. Yeah, that is pretty much the talk of the town on it. Tony as well with the 30 months. Thank you so much. And Andre becomes a member for 1 month. Thank you so much. Andre. Right. I'm looking in the Discord server. I am seeing the new names entering in there. Thank God. I am getting it double barrels.
You're live on stream, you know. Can you pay attention to the program?
Bro, I'm like trying to run 4 different screens here. So keep joining that Discord server. If you're interested in the Forest Pro Clubs match, go in the channel there and let the boys know. I think Storm is in charge of that one, or I've put him in charge of it now. So, and get a conversation going in that general chat. I'll be in there a lot. Ant won't. Ez definitely won't. Okay. No. So let's jump back into the conversation, boys. So I'm just trying to see if there's a lot of things going. I don't know. My Twitter's gone absolutely crazy. I don't know.
Let's have a chat about this.
Well done to our wonderful viewers. Nearly 600 now. In fact, very nearly 600 now.
Is that
keep going down?
I think we can get 1,000 likes.
We've got 1,500 in here and 600 likes, man. Is this freaking never a foul stats or what? What's going on here? What's going on here? Okay.
Can we have a chat about Vista?
Do you want to chat about Vista?
Yeah, because I want to finish, man. My eyes are stinging, man. Hurry up, bro. My eyes are stinging. Let's have a chat about Vista and call it a day, man.
Well, I was going to say chat about Vista, but do we need to cover off the whole Europa League thing?
There's not much to cover off in reality. The fact of the matter is, it's down to UEFA, the most corrupt bunch of bastards in Europe. So let's see how it goes.
The decision went Lyon's way, didn't it? They didn't get relegated, so that's obviously what's triggered.
Of course, they didn't get relegated. It's Lyon.
Exactly. But we were joking about Lyon, having a fire sale a couple of weeks ago, and now it looks like Forest of ones having a bloody fire sale, man.
Yeah, I was taking the piss out of Boring Mouth, man.
You take the piss out of everyone, so we'll come back to bite them sooner or later, right?
Yo, do you think we go and raid them for like a Clivert or a Semenyo?
Well, I've heard his name mentioned. Is there any links to Clivert? I keep seeing this name. I won't go for Semenyo, by the way. No,
they want 70 for Semenyo. They've priced him out.
Well, they've done what we should have done. Simple, isn't it?
Yeah,
with Elanga. But Dibbling's been on the agenda, hasn't he? I don't know.
I would take him. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about some replacements.
Wolfie, let's talk about that price. 50 million, 55 million for him.
Bro, do you think? Okay. Wait. Let me say this. So you were all sitting here saying 75, 80. Some in the chat was saying 100 for Gibbs-White, and he's gone for 60. You really think Southampton are not going to sell for 40?
Bad boy.
It'll be 35, 40. They won't get 55 million. Yeah. We'll obviously try and get as much as we can. We saw Leicester do it before the season before, a couple of seasons before. They will have to sell players, but we won't be able to get the prices that they're wanting. So 30 million, I go in from, but 55
I'd go 30 million. 30 million.
All right, so you wouldn't go 40?
No.
Why?
What's he done?
30 with add-ons. Listen, 30 with add-ons.
What's he done?
Yeah, what has
What
he
did he
actually
do last
achieved? He's
season? Fuck all.
great potential. Look, we talked about Adam Wharton at some point. Adam Wharton would cost a hell of a lot more than
Yeah,
Tyler
right.
Dibblin.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
similar,
absolutely.
you know,
Adam Wharton's done it.
yeah.
What had Adam
yeah.
Wharton done before he went to Palace?
What?
What did they actually pay for him?
They paid
They
like
bought him from a
25
championship
for him.
team, didn't they?
25.
Yeah, so from a
the
championship team.
From the championship, yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
30
Okay,
million.
but he was
plus add-ons,
I
yeah.
Last
reckon,
season, it's not a championship team.
I don't get what. Look, I don't mind if you're saying he's crap or he's good, right? I don't get why you're going down the lines of 30 is okay, but 35 to 40 wouldn't be, because
You
in
have
the
to draw
grand
a line somewhere.
You're
in
going to
the
say it's
grand
not
scheme
our
of
money.
things-
I agree. It's not
no,
our
it's not
money,
even
but
about
I
it's
don't
not our
want it.
money. On PSR, you're talking about a difference of 2 million,
No,
2.5
because
million.
you can't just go out and pay whatever the club selling are asking for just because we've got the money. Because at some point you won't have the money if you go on like that. No, he's worth,
we've just
in
been
my
topped up
opinion, he's
100
worth
mil.
a maximum of 30 million because he's totally unknown. He
Okay,
did nothing
so-
last season.
so did
The season
Forest
before,
over-
we saw him do a few nice dribbles in the championship. Last season, he did nothing.
Okay, did Forest overpay for Gibbs-White?
You should have given us. Say again.
I don't know
Wolfie.
what we paid for Gibbs-White.
Let's just say 40 mil. Did Forest overpay
Yeah,
for
if you paid
Gibbs-White?
40 mil, we overpaid. Definitely.
We overpaid for a championship player, yeah.
I don't
He
think
was.
we overpaid. I think we undersold. He
Yeah,
was
we
a good
overpaid
player.
him.
He's
We
a
overpaid him. He wasn't worth 40 million at
That's
the
a di-
time.
that's a
It
different
turned out
argument
to be worth
altogether.
that now.
Yeah, but we had
Because
to
some
pay.
gambles pay off and some don't.
Yeah, but we had to pay that to get him. The bit that's gone wrong is paying 40 million plus 10% sell-on clause and only putting a 60 million release clause in his contract. When knowing as well. Well, one second.
We can't have
Knowing,
paid 40 million. We can't have paid 40
no-
million.
knowing
We paid.
the release
Nick
clause
is
didn't
right.
make
No, we
sense.
did.
Knowing
We have
that
nearly
he will
paid
be-
40. We paid
can't,
25
because if
upfront.
Tottenham, if Wolves are getting 10%, then by the time you take that 10% off, we've made no money on the guy.
Yes.
apparently we've made about 15 million on him. That's what the
Yeah,
reports
well,
are saying.
On
It's-
cash
So we
flow
sold our
profit.
captain, well, our on-field captain, if you like. We sold our talisman, if you like. We've
Yeah.
sold a player that plays for England that everybody raves about and he reckons he's worth 80 million.
Mhm.
We've sold him for a £15 million profit.
Well, this is where it's all
Yeah.
gone wrong. Because we've paid that amount knowing his potential, but we've only put a 60
Yep.
million pound release
That's
clause
mad.
on it. Yeah, the only thing
Yeah,
I would
that's mad.
say is that the release clause is usually driven by the agent or the player. So what I could be completely wrong, and someone can correct me, but what I think is that MGW or his agent, whichever one it is, has come in knowing that he will get an offer in a few years from one of the so-called top six, probably doubling his wages, and he knows that his get-out clause is literally that cheaper release clause, and he's gone. He's gone quick. The news broke today. He's doing his medical tomorrow morning.
I don't
The
think
release
we've paid
clause, you're
anything
right,
near
is
40 million.
usually something that's forced by the player and his agent, because clubs very rarely want to put a release clause in, unless they're going to put a ridiculous one in, because they're not expecting.
Spain have
Yeah,
them,
For
definitely the
60
player.
million is ridiculous. 60 million does not make any sense whatsoever, considering we bought him in with him being the marquee signing that season, with us putting all these add-ons, because Wolves wanted the add-ons as well, but the add-ons were there to make sure that, because we believed he was going to get it. That's why we said, okay, we can pay you a little less to start with, but you're going to get the extra through the add-ons. Now, then to only put a £60 million release clause in, and for the club to agree to it, that is beyond my understanding, because that does not fall in line with what you're expecting from a player's potential. Player's potential should be looking 75, 80 million as a release clause would have been fine. But yeah, for that to happen, that's led by the player and by the agent. That's not something the club's going to be.
But what if
wanting to
that
put in.
was the sticking point? I think you guys being too narrow-minded here, right? What if Gibbs-White or
Maybe
his
you're right.
agent said, I am not joining Forest unless there is X amount release clause in the contract? At that time, when you're just promoted, you're like, okay, we can worry about that 2 or 3 years down the line. I think the
agree.
problem is, why didn't they renegotiate his contract last year?
Yeah.
Either knock the release clause up or remove it.
I think the answer to that
Because
is
he
they
wouldn't
want-
agree to that. Why should he?
Yeah, I think the answer is they don't want to.
renegotiate contracts mid-contract.
Yeah,
I know
but
they do,
times.
but why should he? Why should he
You know-
agree to
he doesn't want it.
to his
He doesn't
release
want
clause
to
being
get.
abolished.
doesn't
When
wanna-
that's in
I'll
his
tell you
favour.
why, because it would,
That's in his
if
favour.
he wanted, let's just say he came into Forest for argument's sake of 30 grand, right, on a 5-year deal. If they're looking to renegotiate that contract 2 years in and say to him, right, we're going to knock you up to 80K or whatever, just, arbitrary numbers here. And for that, we're tripling your wages. We want the release clause set at 80 mil. That makes more logical sense.
Forest won't triple his wages.
But
They've
knows.
done
He
it
could take
before, man. They've renewed contracts before.
MGW is the type of player who knows. We can all tell he's kind of got this cocky confidence, which I'm not saying is a bad thing because he's obviously brilliant at football. He's one of the best in that position, but he knows he can go to a so-called top 6 team. He can demand a huge wage. He plays for England. He's been told by that idiot who manages England that if he wants to get picked more often, he needs to be at a top 6 club.
Now, has that played a factor?
Probably. And don't forget, he'll have his agent in his ear. He'll have his agent in his ear thinking 10%. The agents push them massively. They know they can get more worth out of him.
So do you remember when he first didn't get picked before? I can't remember who got the injury and then he got selected. Do you think maybe that's around the time he started thinking about potentially leaving? I mean, he's had to have had the thought about it, hasn't he? Irrespective of all the messages we get.
I think that if Tottenham hadn't come in for him, I don't think he was. No, perhaps I'm being naive because his agent would have.
No, you are right. You are right. There's no one that he's not pushing. Like Elanga,
but they found out he's got a release clause, and that could only have come from his agent.
Yeah. Maybe I'm being pessimistic here, but I'm starting to think back to what the Wolves fans say, and I almost feel like he joined Forest as a stepping stone club, knowing that he would go on.
Crypto. I'm not going down that road with like blaming the players for wanting to leave. The players are going to want to leave because they offered more money. They're human beings. You've had this argument many times. If you get offered more, you're going to take it. So let's not do that. Let's not start blaming the players who wants to leave. Let's blame the club for not keeping them here.
Yeah, but I'm not blaming him.
If we went to Stockport County and got their top striker, you wouldn't turn around and say he's a snake for leaving Stockport.
I didn't say he's a snake. I haven't said he's a snake. Okay. I haven't said anything like that. If he wants to go and double his wage, he can go and double his wage. All I'm saying is we're discussing the situation that may or may not have happened. We don't know. We're speculating. We're speculating on what happened.
Just as a point of interest, the information I've got in front of me says he was signed for 25 million. He was signed for 25 million. With an additional 17.5 million in potential add-ons related to appearances and Forest Premier League status. So he's probably
and European football and England international. They all got hit.
Wolves also included a 15% sell-on clause in the agreement.
Yeah,
so whoever negotiated that contract is a twat.
Yeah.
But like Wolfie said, we were so desperate for him, and it was towards the end of a window that we actually signed him.
Yeah, you're right. Ed.
Remember,
from their side.
Remember, me and you saw his debut.
One at a time.
Me and you saw his debut at we saw his debut at Everton. So we were signed after the season started. Me and you were there at Goodison Park.
Yeah, and let's not forget, we went back and forth with Wolves about 6 or 7 times as well. It wasn't that wasn't our opening gambit. Yeah.
So it's very likely that what Wolfie's. I'm sorry. Is just backing you up, mate. Just saying that it's very likely that what you're saying, that the only way we could get that deal across the line was to kind of
put the clause in,
bend over a little bit and expose ourselves. And this is what the outcome of it is: a £60 million release clause, which he or somebody else associated with him has leaked out to Spurs. Obviously, maybe Man City never even knew about it, but he certainly leaked it out.
You can make that point. Maybe that was true. Maybe they wouldn't have
press that was saying that, not Man City.
But if he really wanted to stay, he could have negotiated a new contract and a new release clause, but he didn't.
No, he doesn't want to stay. But this is down to the club, though. The club's not giving him enough reason to want to stay, and not getting that Champions League. Yeah, what a disaster that's proven out to be, man.
Richard Stewartson just put up a thing saying, "I'm here, Wolfie." Is that the same Richard that kept saying you're idiots because Elanga's going nowhere? Is it the same one?
I don't know.
No. Clip
in the last one, Richard. It was a Richard
I don't know.
I can't remember.
But he kept coming up saying, "You're wrong. Elanga's staying."
Well, what's wrong right now
is
is we're still holding like 1,400 in here. Shout out to you guys. We're getting close to 700 likes. Please hit that like button. We're also getting close to 27,000 as well subscribers, which is crazy, man. So if you're new here, please do hit that subscribe button. It's completely free. Now, I'm just going to bring speculation out of the window here. Okay. We've said, oh, Forest saying ambition, this, that, and the other. I've just had a thought. I go back to the PSR document that Forest released, you know, the minutes that came out of it, right?
Mhm.
In those minutes, it clearly said Forest's method is to buy from lesser known players from the South American continent and window shop them into the Premier League, window dress them, I think was the words they were using, to sell on for profit. So whatever's been said, whatever PR spin has been said, the actual factual thing when Forest were taken into, a courtroom setting, the actual thing that was said was that Forest are buying these players not to build, but to sell, right? I'll dig it up at some point. I got it somewhere, the old document of that. But that was done, what, a year and a half ago? Whenever the PSR thing came out in that January of a year and a half ago. So are they not just doing what they said they've been doing? They bought Elanga for 13.5 mil, sold him on for 55. Gibbs-White, whatever you want to call it, say 40, turned around to 60.
That's all very well and good for them, but this is a football club with hundreds of thousands of fans. Like, do we not matter to them? Is it literally just a business to make money? Because they don't.
Yes, and yes.
Yes, but they don't put Marinakis like that. When he comes out and does his half-an-hour Sky News interview, he seems like a genuine fan as well. So what's the truth? Is it money, or do we care about the club and the football and the fans as well? Because it's not adding up at the moment.
The thing is, what I never understand about this is for clubs like ours, and I will bracket us with the likes of Brentford and Fulham and the likes, Crystal Palace, those sorts of teams, is that it always seems very short-sighted to me. So they've sold Elanga and made 15 million quid, let's say. 30 million quid if you like, I don't really care. But to me, that's short-sighted because by keeping Elanga, and if we are in the Europa League, then Elanga could possibly help to propel us to winning that competition, which would give you not only money for winning the competition, but obviously propels you into the Champions League where the money is ridiculous, even if you don't do very well. So for me, it always seems short-sighted when clubs do this, but a lot of clubs do. Most clubs do. Outside of that, I hate saying top six because they ain't fucking top, but outside of those people, the money six, we're all the same. And you need something to separate you, to propel your club. And selling you better players is not the way and never has been the way to do it.
So do you think they look at a Murillo and think, this is a player that takes us to that next level? Or do they look at Murillo and think, this is a player we're going to cash in on?
Yeah, it's an interesting point. We don't know. We assumed with Mr. Marinakis that it was the former, but I'm now beginning to wonder whether it's the latter.
Yeah. It kind of plays into it being the latter, but we know that he's sought after by a few clubs, and when he does go, it will be a massive profit for us. But I said a couple of weeks ago about look at Brighton's model. If we want to look at a model, when they cash in on their players, they cash in on their players. We're getting the bare minimum. We're having to get our owner involved to convince.
I was surprised to see a Drinker go today.
Convince Newcastle to pay another 5 million. So we haven't got the same model as Brighton. We mocked their model, but I'd be happy with their model right now, because I think we're getting our pants pulled down with some of these offers.
60 million for MGW is too little. He's an England international. He's what a lot of clubs would take MGW. 60 million. Put it this way. Is MGW better than Elanga? I would say yes. So he's worth more. Well, Elanga apparently it's gone for 55 plus bonuses to 60. So he's worth more than 60.
I don't know.
No,
look, I think. Okay, let's. I've put a question in the poll. I've put, do we need a marquee signing? Because there is a lot of anger.
We need about 5 marquee signings.
But no, okay, but just hear me out here. Do we need a marquee signing, or do Forest need to rebuild that squad thing again with the Murillo gems, with the Danilos, etc.
Tell them again next
That's
year.
still going to happen in the background. Sorry, go on, Crypto. Sorry, go on.
But just let me present the case, right? We need to do that, or is the anger? Because I feel there is a lot of anger, especially from you three. A lot in the chat. I haven't been on social media, so I don't know what it's like, but I'm assuming the same thing.
These guys want me up.
Disappointed.
Yeah, but does a marquee signing? Is a marquee signing needed to appease the fan base?
Yes.
Yes.
Just say yes, guys. If this is not 90+% yes, then you guys, I don't know.
No, it's 82 at the moment.
My
haven't voted yet.
My concern more than a marquee signing is actually now the number of signings. Because we said we wanted 2 wingers. Well, we've just sold 2 wingers. So my concern now is not just getting a marquee signing in. It's we need players to fill the positions and decent, high quality players who can challenge. Like,
I mean, can you imagine being a Forest player, right? And pick any of them you like, and going into work today, having thought about how the next season could go and what we achieved last season, and then seeing that Elanga and MGW aren't there.
Yeah.
How the hell are you supposed to feel? How the hell are you supposed to feel that yes, we can really push on now?
You know what? I'm going to start monitoring Aina's social media, because I'd love to see his interview after signing his new contract was exactly what I was hoping to hear from our players, and it kind of goes in the face of what we're doing as a club.
I know,
because he's Aina. He's looking for the progress of this team. He's looking at this team, improving on what we did last season, and at the moment he's not got anything to back that up. So I agree with what Ants just said there. How does it look for the players already there, seeing these key players just?
Well, your morale must dip. You must lose morale.
But if you're Colin Hudson-Odoi, and you're on the precipice of signing a new contract, but then all of a sudden you've lost,
your best
not
mate,
just Elanga, your best mate, but you've also lost MGW, the talisman of the team. Surely you're going to think about it. You're going to think, hang on, who's going to be next? If we lose Murillo as well, I'm left with a bunch of scrubs. Obviously, not literally, but, we're not left with the same quality of player that we had previously. Why should I sign a new contract? I'm a free agent in a year's time. I can
but who's this marquee signing? Like, my worry is, remember our marquee signing when we got promoted?
Yeah, MG Dub.
No.
No, don't.
Yeah, but he was. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
It doesn't matter. He was the marquee. I'm saying I don't want to see is Grealish going to be our marquee signing or something like that? I don't know.
Marquee signing. I think we need top quality player, not necessarily some flash Harry with a big name who's past it.
So what are you saying when you're saying marquee? Like, give me a level. Obviously, they don't need to be.
I would say now you could laugh at me if you like, because he's actually on a free transfer now.
Ferguson.
But I would say Vlahovic would be a marquee signing.
Ferguson.
No. Vlahovic is a free, so it's not even like it's a big money signing. I mean, it is wages. Wages will be massive, but will he come to?
Well, you joked about Wolfie. You joked about Douglas Luiz being a marquee signing earlier in the season. I laughed at it. And I said, I'd be disappointed if he's our marquee signing. I'd take him right now, bro.
Oh my God, Mark, that's evil, man. Henderson, our marquee. I'm done.
Right, end the stream.
Seriously, I think we need to have a little bit of a conversation about Henderson.
Henderson
3 years ago, Henderson won the Champions League. Is he that bad?
Bro, yeah. I've seen Luke Chadwick probably win something at Man U. Is he?
Have you seen him playing for England?
No, Henderson was a good player. Come on, be fair.
He was a good player.
He played many years for Liverpool in that engine. Won a lot of competitions. England still what?
Times change.
England scrub. That's what it is, Brian.
Well, the people have been starting. Apparently, Forest is set to make a bid for McAtee. So here comes the
25 million. That sounds reasonable to me.
Okay, is that a marquee signing?
Was he 20 years old?
No, that's not a marquee signing, but it's a decent replacement.
It's a good signing.
I think it's a very good signing. I like him. I like him a lot.
This is what we need now. We need a
I
number
don't
of.
just think it's a good signing. I think he could be a very good signing, but we still need more behind him. We need more.
In fact, in reality, a marquee signing would cheer us up. Of course, it would. But in reality, we'd probably be better off just getting some good players in.
That's my point. That's my point. But I'm saying, have they now played this wrong? Because by selling Gibbs-White and selling Elanga, which are big household names, whether you think they're amazing or you think they're whatever, right? If you hadn't sold them and you brought in a Dibbling, a McAtee, these kind of players,
Wissa,
whatever, right? Yeah, Harvey Elliott. These are players that you look at and think, you know what? Forest are bolstering out this squad quite nicely. They got Nuno's got options here and what have you. The problem for me, the big problem is this is the wrong way round. You sell your players but I'm saying you're telling everyone.
Elanga and MGW are marquee players. You don't need to buy them. We already had them.
MGW is the poster boy. We all know that he's the poster boy of the club, right? How many times Sky Sports all they talk about? MG Dub, great player. What I'm saying is, you've now made a few critical errors in my estimation. You told everyone you got 100 million. You've told everyone you got a hole on the right wing. You've now told everyone you got a hole in your 10 or 8, wherever you think he should be playing. And you told everyone you need these players in. And everyone has seen the likes of that scrub Tim Weah rejecting us, Fofana saying he wants to hold out for Champions League football. So when that door, that knock on the door comes to, I don't know, a crappy team like Brentford or something, who would lose their players to Forest, they're like, why do we can hold out for more money? We know you've just been bankrolled. This is why it's the wrong way for me, personally, in my opinion.
Oh, of course, it's always the wrong way to sell before you buy. It's always the wrong way. But like I say, you don't always appreciate what you've got. That's true in life as it is in football. And whether we think that whatever their qualities are, the fact is that both Elanga and MGW are marquee players, and we had them, and now we've not, and we don't look like bringing in. I don't think we're capable of attracting a marquee signing.
I'm not ready to lose my mind until I see what the replacements are. We're over 700. We're over 700 in terms of the likes. Thank you guys so much. Super chats to catch up with. Andre with the 50 Norwegian krona. He says we need Visser, Douglas Luiz, Fofana, Yilmaz, and Rios, and I'll start to smile again. I like that whole list. I do. But I would still say every single one of those comes with a risk, because apart from Douglas Luiz, they haven't played in the Premier League. This is my issue. If you bring in those players in, Visser, yeah, of course. Yeah. But you get my point. You're bringing those players in with some question marks around them. Comsa, says Rios, Elliott, McAtee, and Fofana, and we're good. Decent shopping list. We'll do a shopping list video soon.
Do you think that? I mean, you're talking about sort of replacements. Do you think that actually makes us better than we were last season?
No, I don't think it does. I think it brings us back to that square one.
That's in it. As by selling those two players, it's made the task of improving our team very, very difficult.
I mean,
Can I just say all this bullshit about Champions League drives me up the effing wall. Shelbourne played Linfield in it yesterday. That's Champions League. They're Champions League players. Inter Club, God knows. Dynamo Minsk. Luta. I can't even pronounce them.
Luta Blissett.
Doesn't help. I've not got my glasses on either.
Wait, you're going to read out all the qualifiers? You're seriously going to read all the qualifiers?
No, I'll finish that. Well, what I'm saying is, people going about, I want to play the Champions League. Honestly, most of them play for like 6 games.
So were you thinking that back then when we lifted the trophy?
That was proper champions, though. Every team was a champion.
Yeah. James with the 199 says, disgrace. Send that Edu back to Arsenal. Edu's getting pelters already.
Sniffs a few toes and is forever tarnished.
Oh, yeah, that was it, wasn't it? With the £5 says, we got the Serbinator cells, Sangare, Woodinho. I feel good about Jesus and Anderson can fill Morgan Gibbs-White position. As long as we keep them, we can build.
I like that. I like that.
Absolutely fair. Yeah, still some good players there. And Chris with another £2. He goes, apart from work rate, MGW ain't as good as Madison.
I agree.
Ooh, I don't know. Do you agree with that, Anne?
Well, let's do a poll. Let's do a poll on
Madison's
that
a better player.
I think Madison's got a better goal scoring record. I mean, I don't know this.
You
Better
have a
finisher.
better finisher, better passer, better free kick taker.
Free kick taker, yes.
The only thing that MGW's got over him, as the viewer said, is energy.
Well,
But
actually, I
energy's a
think
big- Energy's a big
energy,
thing.
yes. I wouldn't say Madison's work rate's bad. I think his work rate's pretty good. You know, especially that first season under Ange. You know, he was playing as a deep lying CDM at times and taking the ball forward. So
he's doing so well.
He was going well. So yeah, he's not a bad player. Madison's decent player, man. Decent shout.
Nicky don't like
not
him.
Nicky though.
Nicky don't like Anderson over.
Nicky's in a rage mode, man. He's
Nicky,
on
who's
rage.
better, Madison or Anderson? See what he says to that one. In a bit, Anne. In a bit. Okay, so look, I think we covered everything. There's another video coming out later on to just kind of give you guys a general update and a catch up on everything else that has moved and the Forest players link. So make sure you're keeping an eye on your notifications. I think I'm on Never a Foul later as well. I don't know. I can't keep up. Suddenly everyone
Lucky you.
Everybody wants a piece of Wolfie all of a sudden, isn't it?
Well, I am telling you, I've never seen so many people suddenly remember my number as I've seen today. I'm going to send you over to...
Have you spoken to your brother yet? Have you spoken to your brother yet?
I haven't spoken to my brother yet. I'll be interested to see if he's interested in him. Maybe I should do a stream with my brother. I'll get demonetized in 5 minutes. I'm going to send you over to Bands. They're talking about the Morgan Gibbs-White transfer. So everyone just spam FFTV in there. Let them know come from you. And let's see what happens to me. I've got a long week ahead. Please hit that like button.
Make an announcement before we go.
Hurry up.
Well,
You're leaving us. Are you leaving?
This will be my last one for a little while because I'm going on a holiday. So I set off next Thursday. So obviously I won't be Thursday, and then I'm 2 weeks, and then it's probably about 4 or 5 weeks before.
What was your release score, Dan? What was your release score?
Anne's going to come back. We're going to have no squad left.
There'll just be Carlos Miguel standing there.
Evan Ferguson.
I'm sending
Evan Ferguson.
Spam FFTV raid in the chat. I'll see you guys on the video later on. Come on, you Reds.
You Reds.
You Reds.